As a music educator, one of the common questions I get from parents is, how do I get my child practice without turning it into a battle? To answer that, we first have to understand how we actually get good at music, or anything else for that matter. Learning a new piece or a new technique requires repetition. You try, you make a mistake, you observe the why, and you problem solve with your teacher. You figure it out, and then you repeat the solution until it sticks. Neurologically, this is called myelination. Every time we repeat a physical or cognitive action, our brain wraps a fatty substance called myelin around the neural pathway, making the signal travel faster and much more effortlessly. Repetition is literally how we build the architecture of a skill. But there is a catch. The process only works well if it happens consistently. And for a child to do something consistently, there has to be one crucial element: joy. When we remove fun out of practicing, we aren't just making a child bored and perhaps miserable. We are actually hindering their neurological ability to learn. When a child is forced to do something against their will, the brain's amygdala, the center for fear and stress, activates. This stress response floods the brain with cortisol, which actively impairs the prefrontal cortex, the exact part of the brain responsible for learning, logic, and problem solving. Forcing a child through rote repetition without joy puts them so far from their authentic selves that, over the long run, it can create profound mental health strain. It transforms an art form into an obligation. It completely defies the purpose of studying music. Often people think you need to teach a child perseverance by making them keep playing music even when they are miserable. When we force a child to push through tears, their brain doesn't learn grit. It actually wires itself for learned helplessness. The stress response floods their system with cortisol, shutting down the prefrontal cortex and teaching the nervous system that the activity is a threat to be endured, not a skill to be mastered. Conversely, genuine perseverance is driven by the brain's dopamine reward system. Dopamine is released when a child is intrinsically motivated and successfully problem solves a puzzle they actually care about. This chemical reward is what fuels the neurological stamina needed to try again and again. True resilience is born from curiosity, dopamine, and the joy of discovery, not from rigid enforcement. It is the teacher's job to know the students well enough to figure out what fun looks like to them. How do we get them to repeat their mistakes, observe the problem, and find the solution without feeling judged? At Quiet Forte, we do this by completely shifting the paradigm of a mistake. We teach our students to be proud of their errors. We use a cognitive behavioral technique known as psychological distancing. Instead of having a student feeling like they are the problem, we teach them to view their playing in the third person. We give them the role of an investigator. When a mistake happens, it is no longer a personal failure. It is simply an interesting puzzle. We ask them, I heard a really interesting puzzle in the last phrase. By placing them as a third-person observer of their own performance, we protect them from internalizing shame or feeling like they are not good enough. When you remove shame, you replace it with curiosity. The student is no longer the subject being critiqued. They become a co-teacher. At Quiet Forte, our students don't come to their lessons trying to prove how good they are. They come equipped with extensive notes from their practice sessions. They show me exactly what musical puzzles they uncovered and the strategies they tested to solve them. This gives the child total agency. It turns the rigorous myelin-building repetition of music into a deeply rewarding game of discovery. And that is how we ensure that learning music remains exactly what it was always supposed to be, an expression of joy.